All right, so thanks to everybody who commented yesterday. We've been trying to figure this out. I think we got a good handle on what's going on here, because it seems like it doesn't really tell you everything in game, and then after reading more and like okay, all right, that's why. Okay, that makes sense. I think not everybody was right in the comments, but I was able to piece together what a bunch of people said and figure, oh, okay, like it made sense, right? Now, while this is cool, having freeze on Siege Cascade doesn't work. And I'll tell you why, but it still chills, so I can still have Herald of Ice proc and still have ice explosions coming out of my fire. But I kind of want to talk about why I'm going to switch back to full fire. Like, as you can see, the enemies are getting frozen, they're exploding with ice. The problem is, I have to run the gloves to convert all fire to cold damage, so I'm going to lose stats that would be very useful on gloves, and then I have to run the ring that chilled enemies shatter. So I'm going to be losing too many stats, you know, just to run this. And this is a payoff skill. So let me pull something up. So if you look here on this website, it doesn't say this in game, but cannot freeze, cannot cause stun buildup. So now I'm like, well, that makes sense. So if you look, it doesn't say that here. It doesn't say that anywhere on the skill. The only thing it says is you do more damage against immobilized enemies. And now I understand what this payoff skill means. I've never used one before. I've never tried to do a freeze build, so I'm learning here, all right? Payoff skills have powerful extra effects when hitting enemies inflicted with specific debuffs, often consuming the debuff in the process. Payoff skills cannot inflict the debuff they interact with. So I just thought, in my head, I was like, oh, okay, so they just can't pin. But since the Tactician Ascendancy, all projectile damage pins, that's a workaround. But if you look, it cannot inflict the debuff they interact with, so that's they immobilize. So this skill cannot freeze, pin, heavy stun, or electrocute. So now that makes sense why it's not freezing, because it's considered immobilize under the payoff tag. So it's only pinning because of the Tactician Ascendancy, so that it's not a bug, it's working as intended. But that's why it's not freezing. It's building chill but not freeze. So now I get it. Now it makes sense. So thank you to everybody that commented. We fucking sleuthed this shit out and figured it out. I'm dumb, all right? I've never done this. I've never used a payoff skill. Yeah, whatever, okay? I've been a dirty little galvanic boy. So look, I think I'm going to spec out of trying to make it freeze and just go full fire and go like ignite, penetrate fire resistance, and go that route. Go back to Herald of Ash. I wanted to do the ice because it's cool. But the thing is, my ballistas build freeze, and it builds freeze within like 2 to 3 hits as is right now. We're still missing like 50% freeze build up, and we can still get another 50% on a gem. So we could make it freeze build up in like 1, maybe 2 hits at most, but usually 1 hit against normal mobs. But against the boss, it is such a slow build up, because my idea was Siege Cascade would pin and also build up freeze. So then that's 2 forms of immobilize. But since it's not freezing because, you know, it's only pinning because of the Tactician Ascendancy, I'm not going to be able to get it to freeze like I wanted to. And the build up here is so slow that it's not going to go pin, freeze like I was hoping. So I'm just going to ditch the gloves. I'm going to ditch the ring, and I'm just going to go full fire damage. It would have been cool. It's cool to use Herald of Ice and see, like, you know, ice explosions coming out of the fire. I could have maybe did something where, you know, ignite has like 100% more magnitude on like frozen enemies. I had a bunch of ideas, but I just think it's going to be, I'm going to waste too many resources of damage by, like, you know, going into freeze buildup, and then I would have to come up here and grab the more freeze buildup, the extra cold damage. I mean, it wasn't a problem because I was going to grab the pin nodes anyway. It's not that much further. And then there was some here like penetrate cold resistance. I I just don't think it's gonna be as strong as I was hoping. So I'm just gonna go back to full fire. You know, I think that's the plan. But I mean, you know, it was cool while it lasted, right? I thought it would, you know, work out a little differently, but it didn't. And here we are. But yeah, I mean, if you look, like, obviously the ballistas basically just freeze immediately and then they just explode. If we get this going, you can just see the ice explosions. So like, it is cool. Like, this would work against, like, if you get a cluster of enemies that are together, and like once you kill one with a Herald of Ice, they just explode. It is really cool. It's just bossing is the hardest part right now, especially when you get to like +4 bosses, +4 pinnacles. That's kind of why I'm going this build, because I want to try to get this to do more damage versus my last build where it just kind of, I can do +3 pinnacle bosses, but +4 it wears off. I would have to take my I would basically have to, if I'm going to run +4 pinnacles, I would have to take Cannons Ready off. I lose the skill speed, but at least they would attack while I'm dodging mechanics and still build pin. I think that would be the way to go. I could beat them if that was the case. But this seems like it's going to do more damage because of the 280% on Siege Cascade against pin enemies. So I think I'm just going to go fire and just dig into fire and see what happens. But yeah, so I just want to thank everybody. You know, I had a vision and then now understand why it won't work. It makes sense. I wish the tooltips gave some more info. I guess it's there, you know, just, you know, don't be dumb to figure it out, I guess. But it's still going to be a strong build. We're just going to go full fire ignite. But anyways, the last you're going to see of this frozen build. I mean, look at these just explosions of ice. It's so cool, right? Having fire and ice. But its build sucks for visibility. You can't see what the enemies are doing. You can't see what the bosses are doing. And especially if we go full fire again, it's just going to be an absolute nightmare. But anyway, I'm going to go switch some things around. I'm going to change my passive tree up. And we'll get back into it soon. But anyway, appreciate you all. Thanks for the input. Subscribe, come back, see you on the next one.